Good morning to another Monday live. Get the wrong day. Of course, we weren't here last Monday as a bank holiday. So moving into September. And for those of you who don't know already, we're calling September Pre-emptember. It's quite a mouthful, but it's going to be Pre-emptember. Okay, so we are thinking about preempt. That's what we're going to be doing all of this month in all sorts of ways. Some of you will have had the opportunity to see my big seminar, which I apologise in advance for those of you who haven't seen it. It's a bit longer than usual. It's not a deep topic, so hopefully you can manage that. And of course, the beauty of the big seminar is you can stop it halfway and then watch it later. So that's what we're talking about, our first bit on Pre-emptember today. The way these events are going to work generally from now on Mondays, I'm going to try and do my first bit with the seminar and the bidding quiz and things like that, and then for the last sort of 10 minutes I'm going to try and do a little bit on beginners. So if you want to sort of exit before the beginners, obviously you'll be welcome to, but I'll tell you that, and I thought that'd be a nice way of doing it, so I can have a sort of 8 or 9 minutes at the end for the beginners, which eventually we will edit out and have in our little beginners section on the website to go with the Begin Bridge software. Don't forget, for the beginners, you can have a month free on board, so don't forget that. I do recommend that. I mean, I know some of you are not so keen on giving your card details, but what you can do is simply sign up for us and cancel straight away. And what that means is you get the 1 month free, and then you'll be cancelled after that, unless you decide, actually, no, I want to carry on, which of course you will, because you'll be having such a wonderful time. So what else is there? We have our last trial real bridge session. So there's another real bridge session this afternoon. Slightly different though, because we're trying to trial our own sort of payment method. So you will get to the real bridge event through the real bridge part of our site, so if you go to the, let me see if I can find it on here. He says, looking at the thing, I can't see it. No, I don't know. Is it there? No. I'll have to website. There we go. From our Bridge Club page, you go on there and you'll see there's a real bridge games. If you press on the link there, you go to a page where you have to purchase points to play. Basically pounds really to play. This afternoon it'll cost you £2.50. However, you will get given £3.50 back. So it's going to cost you minus £1, but of course you will have to buy you'll be buying some tokens, as it were, points for future games. So you'll actually be paid £1 to play this afternoon. Okay, but you do have to go to the real bridge part of the site, and then it'll all be enclosed in our site, so which is quite a nice thing. The only people who will be able to play, I'm afraid you've got to be a member to play in that, and in future games and in this game you'll need to have the points to pay for your game, as it were. But don't forget, although today's game costs £2.50, you will be given £3.50 back. Okay, so you can't grumble with that. Well, you probably can, but I don't know what. Okay, what else is there? We've got teams coming up on Wednesday, of course. Sorry, someone asking how many boards. This afternoon it's just 8 boards because it's still a trial game, so it'll just be 8 boards. The usual number of boards for the duplicates will be about 18. So the usual number for a game would be 18. Okay, but this afternoon's one's just 8, so it's just about an hour's game, as it were, as a trial. Okay, so the teams is going to be on Wednesday, so that'll be a normal teams, and for those non-members it's the special offer this week. So the special offer, so that means you can watch my teams on Wednesday for just the £3, which is a real bonus, and you can book that up now if you like, and then log in. Remember, you don't have to watch it live, of course, you can watch it any time. So let's look at the hand evaluation, which is the way we often start. So let's go to that. Here we go. There's the hand that I left those of you who were with me on Friday. And don't forget, on Fridays, we are still on the Jacoby to No Trump response, basically supporting majors. And for the next 2 weeks, the next 2 Fridays, we are going to be looking at examples after examples after examples, because that is the way you get to know systems. So we're going to have lots and lots of examples and see how the hands bid together. We've been through the logistics, shall we say, of the system, and now we will try to analyse. Okay, so what do you think of this hand then? What do you think? Clearly, we'll be the opening bidder. We're going to open a heart. What I want you to do is evaluate it. My evaluation of it would be quite nice, really. Just 13 points, but obviously a 6-card major is nice, and a singleton rather than the doubleton. Always remember that. It's quite important that. So if you had 2 spades and 2 diamonds, I'd be less excited about the hand than with 3 spades and a singleton diamond, even though they would both have the same number of losers. So what I want you to think about is how you feel about the hand now, how you feel about it if your partner supports your hearts. And then we'll add another element in. We might even have some spades being bid by our opponents. And so what I want you to do is see how that evaluation will change as each element comes in. Your partner supports, your opponents come in with spades against you, and we'll see the auction as it goes on. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go to our little seminar. So as I say, we are talking preempt ember. So I want you to send in your preempts for me, both successful and non-successful, those against you, the ones you do. It's really important that we get a whole gamut. I want to see bad preempts, and I want to see good preempts that go wrong. As I would say at the very end of my big seminar on preempts, I will be saying to you, if you don't get -800 once every month or two, you are not bidding enough. Okay, because if you preempt regularly enough, sometimes they will go wrong. Your opponent should double you and you will lose 800. And the reason I'm saying that is because don't forget, if you lose 500, you'll sometimes get a good score. If the opponents can make a vulnerable game, that's 620. So -500 can be a good score. -800 might be just one trick too much. It's not that far off a good score. And that's why 1 in 10 times I don't mind getting it. Because hopefully 9 or 8 of the other 10 are going to be tops, and maybe the other one's an average. So, you know, I'm prepared to gamble. So let's make sure we understand the reasons for preempting and what are the 2 main reasons for preempting. Well, I'm hoping the first one obviously is the one that springs to mind, get in the way of the opponents. Let's disrupt the opponents. Now, I know it sounds a bit strange, but the point is, it's part and parcel of the modern game of bridge. You know, we're allowed to push people about. We're allowed to enjoy our -50s and -100s. Okay, so we're going to try and make our life difficult for our opponents. And you're going to see that when we talk about third in hand preempts. Okay, and we'll look at some of those today. The other is description. Don't forget, you are giving an accurate description of your hand, and that can get you to some very good games. So you're saying, partner, I'm weak with a 7-card suit. Generally, as the position is going to make a difference to the way we define our hand, but the description is quite accurate. You know, partner, I've got 5 to 9 points in a 7-card suit. That's a lovely way of describing a hand. I mean, if I open 1 heart, it's a much more wild thing. It could be 12 to 19 or 11 to 19 points, could be 4 hearts, could be 7 hearts. You know, so a preemptive bid gives a much more accurate description. So these are the things I said that you have to bear in mind in the seminar, and then I go through them all in the seminar. The first thing is how many high card points. And the key here is if you've got 10 points and a 7-card suit, I think you've probably, assuming the 7-card suit is decent, you've probably got enough to open the bidding. So 10 points and a good 7-card suit is actually enough to open at the 1 level. So we generally think of it as 5 to 9 points. The suit quality, if you're opening in front of your partner, that means before your partner has bid, bear in mind you are describing your hand to him, the descriptive element of it. So you should generally have a good suit quality. The vulnerability, which is another thing that's going to come up on this, makes a huge difference. When I'm vulnerable, my suit quality will be lovely. When I'm non-vulnerable, I will sometimes risk a few more things. Defensive values, we'll see an example of that in one of the hands we're going to look at in a moment. Not an easy concept, but the idea is generally when I make a preemptive bid, I don't really want to be able to make many tricks in the opponent's contract. Ideally, one at most. So maybe if I've got an ace, I'll make one trick against them. The rest of my hand will often be redundant. And if my partner knows that, my partner will often be able to make some great judgment calls. Okay. Distribution seems a bit odd. You've got a 7-card suit, but 7-2-2-2 is balanced in inverted commas, I should say. But if you've got a 7-card suit, 2-2-2 is the most balanced you can be, and it's not that desirable. We much prefer to have a singleton or even a void, but a singleton somewhere gives you much more flexibility in the play, etc., and control in the play. The last two, vulnerability and position, are probably the most fundamentally important things for your bidding. Vulnerability, if you are vulnerable and your opponents are not, most of the time we bid when we're vulnerable and our opponents are not, we're actually trying to make a contract. Okay, it's what we call unfavorable vulnerability. You've got to be really careful. Whereas the opposite, non-vulnerable against vulnerable opponents, we tend to bid a lot more. Okay. And of course, position. This is something that a lot of people don't think about much. What do I mean by that? Are you the first player to bid? If you're the first player to bid, nobody else has bid, of course. So hopefully, 2 out of 3 times, if you make a preempt, you're annoying your opponents. But don't forget, if your partner's the strong person, you tend to annoy him. You know, if you pick up an 18 count and your partner opens at the 3 level, you're thinking, oh, I wanted to have some fun with this hand. So first position, we tend to bid as normal. Second position is crucial though. When the bidding goes pass and then it's your bid, there's now only 2 people left who can have the strength. Remember, the first person's passed. Well, if there's only 2 people left, one of those is your partner. That means half the time you'll be upsetting your partner. So this is when we're on our best behavior. And that goes actually for opening bids as well, just generally, but preempting particularly. So when I'm second in hand, I tend to be much better behaved. But I go through all of those things in minutiae, as it were, you know, under the microscope. No, it's the wrong thing. Magnifying glass, that's what I'm looking for in my big seminar on the site. What we're going to do here is look at some examples and see how we feel about them. So let's look at an example here. And those of you who've seen the seminar or who know me will know that this is my favourite type of hand for a preempt. It is what I would call a gorgeous preempt. It is just wonderful. Why? Because I expect to make 6 tricks in my spade contract. I expect to make 0 tricks against a heart contract. So if my opponents get to hearts. When you've got this huge disparity, 6 against 0, get in their way. Because if they bid to 4 hearts, there's a good chance they're making it. And if they're not, well, your partner's going to have 4 tricks in his hand and might even double them. Do you know what I mean? So here, 3 spades is just gorgeous in any position at any vulnerability. I suppose you might think about it in 4th hand, 4th position. If it went pass, 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 which is going to be unusual because you've only got 6 points, you might just bid 2 spades there. But that's just by the by, it's almost never going to happen. Okay, so here it's a perfect preempt. Now some people will say to you, but if you're vulnerable and they're not, surely you're supposed to be able to make an extra trick or something like that. No, when you've got a hand like this, just do it. You may look at the hand afterwards and think, well, if they'd doubled us, we'd have got a bottom score. But doubling for 1 off when you're vulnerable isn't going to be easy. So for the most part, this kind of preempt is just going to make it really difficult for your opponents. And very rarely will you get a bad score from being left in it because you've got 6 tricks in spades. So if your partner's got a couple of aces, well, you're making 8 tricks already. That's only one off. And even with 2 aces in your partner's hand, your opponents can still make a game contract. Can you see that? So it's a wonderful preemptive hand, and it's the kind of thing I love doing, as you'll see. And you'll have seen me do it in my teams matches and all sorts. So it's a 3-spade bid. How about this one? I've given you some vulnerability here. So let's say north-south are vulnerable. North-south are vulnerable and you are not. North-south are vulnerable and you are not. Okay, have a think. So again, you're west, you are first to bid, for example, and imagine north-south are vulnerable and you are not. Now, if you wish, what is important on these hands, okay, is I want you to tell me how many defensive tricks you've got. So how many tricks do you aim to make in a spade contract, and how many tricks do you expect to make, you know? So only one person said what I'm going to say now. To me, if I open 3 spades on this hand, you're inviting your partner to bid 4 spades as a fantastic sacrifice. Okay? And he will. He will do that most of the time. The problem is, and 4 spades will probably just go a couple off, but you might actually be making 3 defensive tricks from your hand. So the problem I've got, if you open 3 spades, I don't mind you doing it, but I love to bid at this vulnerability when I'm favourable. I love to sacrifice against the opponents, but I only like to do it when I've got hands that are going to be good for sacrificing. And I'm afraid to say, if the bidding goes 3 spades, 4 spades overcall, 4 spades from your partner, I'd be a little bit worried that you might be taking 4 hearts down. Okay, so be very careful. Understand that if you're at favourable vulnerability, I do bid a lot, but I bid when I've got really weak. Take the king of diamonds away. Now, I'm going to open 3 spades, believe it or not. And a lot of you are thinking, oh, surely not. Okay, but let me show you your partner's hand. I mean, I think pass is the right bid here. I'm not going to bid 1, because I don't, 1 spade, it's just not an opening hand. And you're going to, if you open 1 spade, you'll have to rebid 2 spades and then 3 spades. It will work if partner has some support. But if your partner's got a singleton spade, it's going to be really ugly. Okay, so let me show you your partner's hand here. Okay, so there's your partner's hand. You open 3 spades. Your opponents managed to get to 4 hearts. I think your partner is correct to bid 4 spades. Okay, I think your partner does the right thing if he bids 4 spades. Now, not on this hand, he doesn't, because as you can see, you're going to comfortably take 4 hearts off. Okay, you're going to make the ace of spades, the ace king of diamonds, and probably, well, surely a club trick as well. So 4 hearts will go off. 4 spades won't be too bad. You'll only go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 2 off. So 2 off doubled is only 300. You're thinking, oh, great sacrifice. But because of the ace of spades, the king of diamonds, and the queen of clubs in the preemptor's hand, it's no good. I only need to take 1 high cut away. Take the king of diamonds away there. Okay, make it a small one. And now 4 spades is a reasonable sacrifice. You may go for 500. Okay, but it's still better than 620. And therefore, I think 3 spades is okay. So the important thing here, okay, the important thing here is to understand if, as a partnership, you like to find sacrifice. So some of you will open 3 spades here and your partner won't bid 4 spades on the east hand. Okay, but for me, as east, at this vulnerability, both of us are thinking of sacrificing. So when it goes 3 spades, and I look at the vulnerability, we are non-vulnerable and they are vulnerable. As east, I am thinking that if I've only got 2 defensive tricks at maximum, remember the king of clubs might not be worth a trick, well then I'm expecting them to make 4 hearts. They've clearly got a reasonable heart fit. So I think bidding 4 spades is perfectly reasonable with the east hand. Okay. and he will get a bit of disappointment. Okay, 4 spades is the correct bid. If you never bid it, you're not bidding enough. Okay, you want to be bidding 4 spades. Imagine, for example, West has king, queen, jack, 10 to 7 spades and nothing else. So imagine he has the perfect preempt, king, queen, jack to 7 and nothing else. 4 spades is a wonderful sacrifice. Okay, you know you're making 7 tricks, if not 8 tricks, at the same time as they are maybe even making a slam. Or ace king to 7 spades and nothing else. Okay, you've got, so if West had ace king to 7 and 3 doubletons, okay, 4 spades is a fantastic sacrifice. So you want to be sacrificing with that east hand. The person who would be wrong on this hand would be West. But this is a partnership thing, and all I want you to do is think about defensive values and understand what they mean. And what that means is, when I preempt, I don't want them. I do not want to have a good defending hand. Here, West clearly does have a good defending hand. He has 3 possible tricks, and he may well make them all. I mean, the king of clubs might knock out the ace, and West could end up making 3 tricks on this hand. The ace of spades, the king of diamonds, and the queen of clubs. Okay. And I don't like that. Let's have a look at this one. Have a look at this one. Now, some of these things are style, but I have to say, when I look at this hand, it looks like a preempt, doesn't it? Now, of course, I've put the 10, so it looks like it's got 7 cards, but it's only got 6 cards in it. So it's debatable what you do. Now, clearly you can't bid it with weak 2 because 2 clubs in all of our systems is strong. So I like the idea of preempting. However, there's a couple of things I would say to you. Vulnerable, I tend to behave myself because, you know, 3 clubs is usually showing a 7 card suit. So vulnerable, I don't think I'd necessarily bid here. Second in hand. Second in hand, you must be on your best behavior. So if you're vulnerable, I think I would just pass. If you are second in hand, don't forget, half the time you preempt your partner, so you need to give a very accurate description of your hand. Your partner will be expecting 6 club tricks, not just 5. So as in a 7 card suit, and he will then count, thinks, oh great, we can make 3 no trumps. Makes a big difference if you've only got a 6 card suit. But it does look like a preempt. So I would feel non-vulnerable. I'm prepared to bid 3 clubs, but not second position. Second position, I'm on my best behavior. Half the time, I'm preempting my partner. It's important that. Okay. So here, for me, non-vulnerable, I would do this because my main aim is to try and get in the way of the opponents, and I think that's perfectly reasonable. So first in hand, 3 clubs. Third in hand at game all, I probably would bid 3 clubs. So third in hand, game all, because third in hand, as we're going to talk about in a few times here, okay, third in hand, we sort of have a free license. So maybe game all, I might bid it third in hand. Okay, so I discuss all of these individual ideas in the big seminar that's live on the seminar at the moment. Okay, have a look at this. Okay, here's another one. This is pretty weak, obviously. And again, here, I think you've got to have a descriptive value to your hand. So for me, this is not a preempt, with one exception. So this isn't really a preempt because your partner's going to overestimate things, okay? But we do have one place where we can definitely bid this. When the bidding goes pass, pass, and then it's your bid. When the bidding goes pass, pass, it's third in hand. Where are all the points? And of course we expect all the points to be in the 4th person because 2 people have said they've got fewer than 12 points. Okay, so therefore we can almost guarantee that our left-hand opponent, the last player to bid, has 15, but often he'll be sitting there with 20 plus. Okay, and so we call this a free license, particularly if you're non-vulnerable. I am going to bid here. I'm only going to bid 3 clubs. I'm not going to throw out 4 clubs here. Okay, but I am going to bid. You will have seen me do this kind of thing playing in the live teams games. So if I'm third in hand and I'm non-vulnerable, I am going to bid aggressively. I'm not preempting my partner. My partner's shown fewer than 12 points. And that's the key here. So I can only be preempting one person. So third position, I've got a free license. I'm going to bid 3 clubs. Okay, I am going to bid 3 clubs. You don't have to, remember that. You don't have to, but I want you to preempt more. Remember, particularly in Pre-emptember, okay, I want you to try and preempt more and try to discover when it works and when it doesn't. Okay, remember, third in hand, non-vulnerable, your partner actually will be looking, he will understand that in third in hand, it's what we call bridge knowledge. Most people know that third in hand you can open a bit lighter because the next player is sitting with this. So this is the last player to bid. The bidding has gone past 3 clubs and it is your bid. Okay. Well, the other option is if the bidding goes pass. So if the bidding went pass, clearly you can make your choice of opening bid. You could even open 2 no trumps, or you could bid 1 diamond, whatever you choose. Over 3 clubs, isn't this disgusting? It really is horrible, okay? Because I think most of us will probably double, and the problem is, most of the time your partner's going to respond 3 spades. It's horrible. The 3 club bid has made your life a misery, hasn't it? You know, you feel you've got to double to get your strength across, but when your partner bids 3 spades, what on earth do you bid then? Okay, you know, it's really horrible, isn't it? I guess you bid 4 diamonds, but you don't feel, I mean, it's horrible. It's a really horrible hand. And the 3 club bid has made your life a misery. And I'm afraid to say, I know it feels like negative bridge, but that's the way bridge is when we play duplicate bridge particularly. Part of our job isn't just to bid to wonderful slams and things. It is to get in the way of the opponents. And that 3 club bid is nasty. I think if your partner jumped to 4 spades, you wouldn't be so worried because your partner's going to have strength and hopefully 5 spades. I mean, it doesn't have to though. So hopefully that wouldn't work out too bad. But when it comes back 3 spades, your partner could be sitting there with a Yarborough with just 4 spades. So it's really tricky. And the 3 club bid has just made your life a misery. There is no right answer. Don't feel that, you know, oh, there should be a special way of bidding it. You know, it's horrible. Okay, let's look at this one. One last hand, and then we'll tidy up. Someone's saying, would you think differently at teams? Not really. Third in hand, non-vulnerable, no. You know, you're just not non-vulnerable with that kind of hand. You're not giving much away. You know, it's very difficult for your opponents to judge when it's exactly right to double 3 clubs. So no, the answer wouldn't be. So here the 4-card major is important. So, you know, the point is we are trying to get a balance between disruption as it were, and construction. So when you open in front of your partner, you shouldn't really have a 4-card major on the side. So we would pass here. Okay. However, third position, of course, third position, your partner's already passed. So you have permission to do anything you want. So don't get me wrong, if you open 3 diamonds, you may well get a good score, but it undermines partnership confidence. Because if your partner's got a nice hand here and you finish in 3 diamonds making or something, your partner puts down his 14 count with 5 hearts, you may well have just missed a slam, let alone 4 hearts, or even 3 hearts making more points. So generally with a 4-card major, pass. Get excited about the rest of the hand, I guess, unless partner opens a spade, 2 spades or 3 spades, in which case you can just keep quiet. But yeah, so with a 4-card major, or even longer, don't get me wrong, then we would tend to keep quiet. Okay. Now, what's important, so I'll just move on there. What's important with preempting is sometimes you'll do the right thing but get a bad score. Sometimes you'll do the wrong thing and get a good score. Okay, that's life, and preempting is very much a big element of that. What I want you to do in this month is to try to experiment a bit more, push your boundaries a bit more. and hopefully discover, because the way we really learn is by getting the -800s. As long as we're prepared to look at them and see why we got a -800. Sometimes it's just because the suit broke 5-0. So that, you know, that's not what we're learning from. But what I want you to do is look at that hand where we had too much defensive strength and understand that sometimes if you do preempt in front of your partner with lots of defensive strength, he will do what I think is the right thing and make a sacrifice bid, and it might not work out well. You are playing as a partnership. And as you get to know, even if you're playing as singles together, an interesting thing to discuss if you want to have a good game with a single is, do you like to preempt aggressively? You know, and if both of you say yes, when I'm non-vulnerable, yes, then you can have more fun together. Because both of you will be thinking on the same wavelength. Oh, if we're non-vulnerable and partner preempts, oh, I'll try and preempt with him and we can get higher, you know, and have some fun with it. Because you've almost given each other permission to have a little bit more fun. You've almost given yourself permission to get a -800. Okay, so, you know, which is good, because when you get the -800, you're not going to be thinking, oh goodness, but my partner's never going to play with me again. Because of course, part of what we do when we play with singles is, you know, we are hoping to have another game with our single, because eventually, hopefully, we find a partner, whether it's online or in our club. Okay, let's go back to the hand here, and here we go. And let's start the auction. And so we said it. I think it's a nice hand to start with, but obviously it's much nicer when we find a fit. So let's see how it goes here. Okay, so there's your auction there. It's gone 1 heart from you, 1 spade, 3 hearts from your partner, 4 spades, and it's your bid. So how has your valuation changed? How would you feel your valuation has changed with that bidding? So clearly we're excited about having a fit. I like the singleton. It's a 6 loser hand. Okay. And I know what I'm bidding next. It begins with F and ends with P, if you can work out what that is. It begins with F and ends in P. And so what I mean by that is how many spades first has your partner got? How many spades has your partner got? And I would feel really, almost always, he's got a singleton. Okay, almost always in this auction. He doesn't have to be, but surely he's got a singleton here. So I'm not thinking about 5 hearts here. I'm thinking about 6 hearts. Because if my partner has the King of Hearts and the Ace of Diamonds, just 2 cards, the King of Hearts and the Ace of Diamonds, we're making slam. Yeah, the hearts just need to break 2-1. Remember, he's promised 4 hearts. So the hearts only need to break 2-1, which is reasonable. So I am bidding 4, no trump. Okay, so just to see, and if, you know, I'm going to bid 5 hearts anyway, but if my partner's got the 2 key cards that I'm missing, I'm going to bid 6 hearts. I think that's reasonable. Okay, my hand has just become huge. My only weakness, the spades, is surely, you know, I mean, let's see what partner's got. He's a little bit weak in high cards. You know, just 8 high card points, but it's going to be about the easiest slam you can. But yes, the hearts could break 3-0. Of course they could, you know, and if they do, we feel slightly aggrieved. But a 2-1 break is reasonable. So here, the singleton diamond and expecting a singleton in partner's suit. Bear in mind that I think most of us are thinking of bidding 5 hearts anyway, so we're not losing anything, as it were, by bidding 4 no trumps, if that makes sense, because if partner's only got 1 key card, bid 5. If partner had none at all, we would end up in 5 hearts. probably relying on a heart finesse, if that makes sense, but it's not the end of the world. So if partner had Queen, Jack, 10 of hearts, not the ace of diamonds, I think you were going to bid 5 anyway. And of course they might make 4 spades. Okay, so is the auction normal from your opponents? It was a 1 spade overcall. 4 spades is aggressive from East. I might have just bid 3 spades with his hand, but you know, it's put us under pressure, hasn't it? The only problem that East has with bidding 4 spades is it persuaded us completely and utterly that the partner had a singleton spade. He could easily have had a void, don't forget. He could easily have had a void. Now, you'd have to have a clever form of responding to Blackwood, but I suppose you could have ended up in a Grand Slam. I think I'd have been happy to be in 6 hearts here. But that was that one. So someone saying, responding, don't forget, I generally am teaching key card Blackwood. So the king of trumps is included as an ace here. So I've bid 4 no trumps. We have agreed hearts. So North counts both the king of trumps and the ace of diamonds as a thing. Okay, so we've had that one. We've got the teams as our special offer. I've got a prize winner, and the prize winner is Magee Tester. So well done, Maggie. The winner of the prize last month got to play with me, but he's going to play hopefully next month with me. So I've still got my seat, which is the ace of spades, and the north-south at the other table. So here we go. This is for Maggie. Maggie, you are at the other table, Maggie. Okay, you'll be against me at the other table, so well done to that. And I'll send you an email about that sooner or later. Okay, yeah, last month's winner Peter is playing the month afterwards because he couldn't make this month. So well done, Maggie. We've got those of you who are thinking maybe of coming back to us, just to say, you know, we are excited about the autumn. We're excited about playing live bridge. A couple of bridge holidays have gone ahead. A lot of clubs are going to get started this month, and we'll keep reporting on that. And I've been trying to come up with a logo, with a slogan, and the best one I've come up with so far is BMB Excited. BMB Excited. So let's see if we can do that about Pre-empting. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you the bidding quiz. I'm going to give you the bidding quiz, and then I'm going to do a little 10-minute slot on the beginners. So this is the bidding quiz that you can, of course, look at the answer up on the site, whether you're a member or non-member. Okay, so there it is. 2 hearts from you. Week 2, your partner bids 3 hearts. 2 hearts from you, 3 hearts from your partner, and you've got to choose your next bid. Okay, so have a go at that one. So what I'm doing now is going over to a little topic on the beginners. For those of you who are happy to stay with me, don't forget, those of you who fancy a game this afternoon at 2 o'clock on Real Bridge, you do need to go to our site to get some points, and you will get that with a bonus, as it were. So let's look at what we're talking about today in terms of our beginners. All I'm going to do is talk about a very simple element of declare a play. Okay, so what I've done is depicted the 2 hands here, no bidding involved. All for those of you who are absolutely starting, what I would do is actually ask you to simply say how many points you've got. So West would say 15, and the other side would say 13. And playing mini bridge, West would get to declare the hand. Okay, so West would declare the hand. And looking at both hands, we're going to play in no trumps. We're going to play in no trumps. And let's say we had the lead of the 10 of spades. Now, I'm not going to make a full plan on this hand. What I'm going to do is look at each suit in turn. So I'm going to look at the spade suit. How should we play the spade suit? The heart suit. How should we play the heart suit? And the club suit. How should we play the club suit? I will leave the diamonds for another time, as it were. So what I'm going to do here is come up with a very simple topic. And the topic is, ideally, if you are playing a suit out in the most simplest form, you should play your high cards from the shorter holding first. So how do we play the spade suit? It is generally best to play the high cards from the shorter holding first. So let me show you what I mean. So let's look at the spade suit in isolation. If we play the high cards from the shorter holding first, the ace, king, queen and jack are all in a way worth the same. They will all win a trick if we just let them win it, because nobody can beat the queen or jack because we're the ones in possession of the ace and king. So if I put the queen on this trick, nobody can beat it other than myself, and I don't need to beat myself, so I would win the trick. I could then play the jack out, still playing the high card from the shorter holding. And the beautiful thing then is I can carry on leading the suit. I can lead the small one over to the ace, and then I can play the king, beautifully running the suit. Let's just see what happens if we play it in the wrong order. And of course, when we start at the very beginning, we do like playing our aces first. So very often people will play, when we first start, think, well, the ace will win, I'll win it with the ace. But it makes a subtle difference. It's what it does, it sort of blocks the suit. Because if I play the king now, I kill one of my jack or queen. I don't want to do that. So I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll play a low one, but I think things have gone wrong already, because I can win the jack, I can win the queen, but I'm stuck in the east hand. Can you see that? So I'd have to cross over to get to the west hand. So if you don't play your high cards from the shorter holding first, the suit does not play smoothly. Really important that. So I've taken the spades away now. We'll look at another suit. Let's look at the heart suit. It's a slightly different suit because we're missing a high card. We're missing the ace. But we have got the king, queen, jack and 10. And if we use those on each suit, I think we will make 3 tricks on them. One will lose to the ace, but the other 3, once the ace is gone, should be winners. So how do you play the heart suit? And of course, we're going to use exactly the same tactic. We're going to use that tactic if it is generally best to play the high cards from the shorter holding first. These experts, of course, and as we get better at bridge, there's different reasons for playing high, low, etc. Okay, but in a simple version, if you are simply looking at a suit, aim to play the high cards from the shorter holding first. So here, once again, the shorter holding happens to be in the east hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the king first, then I'll play the queen. Hopefully, eventually, so I lead towards the king. It wins the trick. I'm going to carry on because I want to knock out the ace, but I'm going to play the cards from the shorter holding first. So I play the queen next. And my opponent wins the ace. I have the jack and 10 are now winners. The ace, king and queen have gone. And the beautiful thing is I can just lead to them. If I lead the 4, the jack and 10 win. I don't have to change hands. That's lovely. So I have 2 winners. Neatly done. Let's do it in the wrong order again and make sure we're happy why it doesn't work. Let's say I play the jack. It wins the first trick. I then play another one. And once again, North decides to play the ace. We've still got 2 winners. We've got the king and then the 10. The problem is we've blocked the suit. We can take the king, but we then have to cross over to the other hand to win the 10. So unless you have a plan for some reason, and of course as you get more experience there will be reasons, good reasons for doing it, okay? Generally what we're going to do is play the high card from the shorter holding first. So let's finish this by looking at the club suit. Okay, so just look at the club suit there. A nice and simple holding there. You've got the ace, king, queen again. So surely that should be worth 3 tricks. Okay, so how do we play the clubs? And hopefully we're getting the hang of this now. Generally best to play the high cards from the shorter holding first. So let's do it. We're going to play the queen from the right hand side there. The queen will win the trick and then the ace and king are winners. Okay, Whereas, let's do it again the other way. If we played in the wrong order, let's play the ace first. Of course, we can win the ace, and we've still got 2 winners in the suit. But if we play the king now, the queen falls underneath it. You have to play them at the same time. So we'd have to play small to the queen and then cross back over. We've blocked the suit. Okay, so to avoid blockaging each of those suits, spades, hearts, clubs, and in fact diamonds, if I was leading diamonds, I would lead the 10 first. The queen, jack, and 10 are all equals. So I would maybe lead the 10 first, the higher card, the high card from the shorter holding first. So it's a very simple message, but this kind of thing comes up so often. Knowing that rule is so important. So if you've never been taught card players, it's maybe something you haven't dealt with in your mind. This is the kind of thing that will come up every hand you play. And once you've got the basic rule in, which is what we're talking about here, then you can decide, actually, maybe I do need to do something different. But having the basic rule in the back of your mind means your default is to play high cards from the shorter holding. Okay? You only change that round if you've got a good reason. Okay, so this is where, of course, all of those holdings were solid holdings. Ace, king, queen, jack. King, queen, jack, 10. Ace, king, queen. So they were all solid holdings. Very different if we've got finesses. We looked at the finesse 2 weeks ago. Okay. So what I'm going to be trying to do here is basically talking about beginner stuff, and eventually what I'm going to be doing is putting it in our little beginner's lounge on the website, which goes with the begin bridge, etc. And we're going to try and build up a nice amount, shall we say, of literature for beginners so that they can start, and novices, of course, because card play is for all of us, you know, for those of us who may know the bidding well enough but getting better at the card play. And so don't forget, if you do want to have a go, come on for a month, cancel straight away, you still get your month, as it were. You don't have to pay, and you can have a look at the Begin Bridge software, and you'll be able to play and practice for a month. You know, and if you're willing to put in half an hour a day or something like that, you can get the best out of it, and then move off, etc. But we'd love to get more people playing, so that would be lovely. Okay, so just a reminder. We're here every Monday, free for everybody. Those members, we're on Wednesdays and Fridays, and all through the time you can be going on the site. And don't forget, we've got the teams on special offer, even for the non-members. I'll put up that bidding quiz for those of you who want to have another look. And don't forget, you can see the answer to that. That's not a beginner's quiz. On the site, of course, we do have a beginner's quiz, a novice beginner's quiz each week as well. But that's again for members, but do have a look at that. So thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed that, and see you throughout the week or next Monday. Enjoy the sunny weather. I've got my son and nephew and niece here, and we've got the paddling pool fill, and we will be sliding on a water slide probably, or I might let them do that and I might just hide. We'll see. So thanks for your time. Hope you enjoy that, and see you soon.